Uh, First of all, I introduce Professor Devasis Samanta sir. Professor Devasis Samanta received his BTech from Science and College, Calcutta University, MTech and MTech from Jadavpur University. He secured gold medal and PhD from IIT Kharagpur in computer science engineering. Currently, he is associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Kharagpur. Professor Samanta is actively working in the field of human-computer interaction and cyber-physical security. He has developed efficient interaction mechanism for people with special needs such as motor impaired people and people with other disability, illiterate people, etc. Further, he has developed a multi-modal interaction technique, text entry mechanism in Indian language, which are new of their kind to bridge the digital divide. Currently, he is working toward the development of new generation hand-free and touch-free interaction mechanism using brain-computer interface. He and his research team are in process of developing BCI HCI lab in IIT Kharagpur, a unique lab facility in India. He is author of 3 books, more than 80 journals, and 120 conferences, paper of international repute. He is currently an honor member of editorial board of International Journal of Bioscience and Technology USA and member of editorial board of International Journal of Communication Network and Distributed System UK. He is recipient of Best Author of the Year Award by Computer Society of India, Best Paper Award by 8th ADCOM Conference, Microsoft Valued Professional Award by Microsoft USA, author of Best Selling Book by Prentice Hall of India, New Delhi. You welcome, sir, for this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Anupam Kumar. So it is really a very nice occasion, and you have given me a chance to interact with your participants in your course. I thank you, all the participants, and also wish you a very happy and healthy life. Now, I think I'm perfectly audible. My sound level and everything is clearly audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, okay, I can stop video because it is immaterial now, and I will share the screen so that I can show my slides.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, now it is visible. Very good. Okay, I think it is fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have started a little bit late, of course. Anyway, so timing budget is too strict because we have to cover a few basic things. So this session includes some presentation where I assume that participants are very new to the subject. They don't have any basic prerequisite or prior learning in the fuzzy logic. Okay, so this way, my presentation will help the people to understand what is the fuzzy logic and how this fuzzy logic works for us to develop some intelligent, what is called the system. Now, artificial intelligence is a very booming thing nowadays. So there is one very expert in the field of AI who is Goodman Fellow. So he has commented like, if you don't know AI, then in coming 3 years or so, you will be treated as a dinosaur. That means if you are in the field of engineering, particularly in the field of IT and electronics and electrical engineering, then knowledge of AI is must to develop more reliable, robust and intelligent system. So in that sense, the fuzzy logic is a very important one topic to learn because this fuzzy logic is being used to develop AI software. Now, so we shall learn about what exactly the fuzzy logic and how it different from the other logic that is available to develop systems. Okay, so as you know, fuzzy logic in fact is a mathematical language, and like any other language, even in the natural language like English, Hindi, so it is used, a language is used to express something, and this expression is required for the communication between two parties. Now, so as I said that fuzzy logic is in fact a mathematical language, and like language, it therefore has its own grammar. There are certain alphabets for this language, and then semantics, what it does mean if I write something in this language. So we shall learn how fuzzy logic become a mathematical language. Now, fuzzy logic is not a new mathematical language in fact. Like fuzzy logic, there are many other mathematical languages known. One popular language is relational algebra. Possibly you know about it, particularly those are from the CS background. They have used it to build database management system. Now, Boolean algebra is very much important, due to which we can develop today's digital circuits. So Boolean algebra is also a mathematical language. Now, in last 30 years or so, predicate algebra, being a mathematical language, is very much used in developing many systems, AI-based system. So our fuzzy logic, like relational logic, Boolean logic, predicate logic, is also a mathematical language. Now the difference, now actually the fuzzy logic in some sense, is a combination of all these mathematical languages. So relational algebra, Boolean algebra, predicate algebra, if you punched everything together, then it becomes a fuzzy logic. Now, essentially, so far the fuzzy logic is concerned, it deals with some basic elements. Those basic elements is called the fuzzy set. So if we want to learn fuzzy logic, then the first thing that you should know how a set can be termed as a fuzzy set. And when it is a set, then there will be some mathematical operation which is known as fuzzy algebra. So in first maybe around 1 hour or so, we will try to learn fuzzy sets and then fuzzy algebra. Now let's come to the little bit background about it. So fuzzy logic was proposed by first times around 30 years ago by Lotfi Abdullah Zadeh. So he was the pioneer of this fuzzy logic and its application. So Lotfi Abdullah Zadeh, he was alive since 5 years back. Actually, he died recently, maybe in 2018, and he was around 101 years old. So he crossed the century, right? And he was the mathematician in University of California, Berkeley. And so popularly or fondly, right, he is termed as LAS. So Lotfi Abdullah Zadeh, simply LAS. Anyway, so he first coined the term fuzzy and relate this terminology in contrast to Cripps logic. So fuzzy means something with not certainty. So fuzzy means it is just fuzzy if you are not sure about it, right? And on the other hand, Cripps means if you are particular fixed about something, then it is called the Cripps. So there are actually two logic we can say, right, in order to find a differentiation or find a boundary between. One is called the fuzzy set or fuzzy things, and Cripps set or Cripps things. Now I can give an example so that you can understand when a thing is called fuzzy and when a thing is called Cripps. So first let us consider one example. Say suppose you have given some liquid and you have to identify the color of the liquid, right? And then so, you have to identify whether it is a liquid or not liquid, right? So the liquid can be milk, it can be water, it can be Coca, it can be Sprite, right? Now, if I want to ask whether it is a liquid, then your Cripps answer will be yes or no. or true or false. Basically, they are same thing. Yes can be alternatively can be termed as true, and no can be termed as false. So yes or no, true or false, 0 and 1, whatever you can say, it is like this. On the other hand, is the liquid colorless, for example, right? So Cripps answer will be yes or no. Now let's come to the another example. So fuzzy answer, right? So maybe it is a liquid, and maybe it is some color, but it is not exactly colorless, a little bit transparent color like this. So if we ask the same question, but your answer will be in a fuzzy manner, then the answer will be absolutely it is colorless. Maybe that it is color, may not be that it is color, partially likely that it is color, and so many things are there. Now, in contrast to yes or no or true or false answer, as you see, the answer will be in the different, what is called the different forms. So maybe, may not be, absolutely, partially, and so many things are there. So this way, the answer that we can give in a fuzzy manner is actually like this. And this way, the two things, if you consider, then that way it is the fuzzy logic and Cripps logic come into the picture. So Cripps logic means if an element belongs to a set, then it can be present in the set or cannot be. But in case of fuzzy set, if an element, if you consider, it may present, but with some degree of its presence. Now I can start with another example. Say suppose you have to test about the honesty of a person. So there may be many persons given to you as an input. I have given 5 persons like this. And then my answer is that whether the person is honest or not. So if you give the answer in a Cripps manner, then your answer will be yes or no only. But if it is in a fuzzy manner, now let's know how the fuzzy answer will be. Extremely honest, very honest, honest at times, extremely dishonest, 4 different levels of the answer that we have planned it. Now, one more important thing that you can see in the rightmost column where I have used the score. Now, extremely honest is the score that we have obtained 99. Very honest is 75. Honest at time 55. Extremely honest is 35. Now, you can ask that how you got the score for these answers. It is like this. If I take the test of honesty with the voting of say 100 people, then the voting result that can be considered at what about the honesty of a particular person. Now here one thing important that you should note that the fuzzy answer can be with different levels and each level has its own score. For example, here as we see the different score for the different levels of answer. Now this way we can express the fuzzy things to define many real life things that is in our world. In fact, all the object, those are here and there in our universe, even in the world, can be better described fuzzily. That is why fuzzy logic become an essential part of today's computing, and a special computing, it is called the soft computing. So fuzzy logic is the root of the soft computing techniques which we can now think to develop very intelligent system like robots, like other expert systems to predict something like that. Now, let's come to the fuzzy system, how we can define, how we can build a system it is. Now, I just, just a minute. Okay, fine. I hope, okay, you are able to follow it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Now, so our objective is to build a fuzzy system. So this is the fuzzy system. Now, so far this objective is concerned, it will take an input and it will produce the output. So this is the input that we can give to the system and it will produce an output. For example, in the automatic process control, it will take input may be from different sources and output may be like one defines, say you want to control your washing machine using a fuzzy manner. So it is an intelligent washing machine. So input, you can understand what are the different parameters, the metric that you can give as an input to your washing machine, and output will be how the machine will perform. So it is like washing machine, it is like intelligent air conditioner, it is like intelligent microwave, it is like intelligent computing system like this one. So this is about the fuzzy system. That means I want to build an intelligent system using our fuzzy concept, so fuzzy system. Now, in order to build fuzzy system, or rather we can say fuzzy system is consisting of fuzzy implication. So if we want to learn fuzzy system, then we have to know what exactly the fuzzy implication. Now, fuzzy implication again needs the concept of fuzzy rules. And then fuzzy rules, in the other hand, needs the concept of fuzzy sets. And finally, a fuzzy set is a collection of some elements called the fuzzy elements. So down the ladder, if we go this way, and if we start learning first fuzzy elements, then fuzzy set, then fuzzy rules, and then fuzzy implication, then we will be able to build a fuzzy system very competently. So this is our obviously task, right? This is our task, how we can build a fuzzy system. Now to do this thing, definitely our learning that is required, all these things are learning. So we will, in the next subsequent few slides, we will try to cover all these concepts, that is fuzzy elements, then fuzzy set, fuzzy rules, and fuzzy implication. So let's start one by one. Okay. Now let us first start with the fuzzy set. Now all of us, we know what exactly is set. Now a set of elements, as we say, right? For example, the entire population of India. So all the all citizens, those are living in India, they constitute one set. It is called the fuzzy set. So X, let be this is the population. Then from this X population, we can have two subsets. One is H and another is M. So these are the elements in these subsets, like H1, H2, H3, and other elements belong to the subset M is M1, M2, M3. So if we draw pictorially, these three sets can be depicted like this one. As you see, the two sets are disjoint in this case. Now here also one thing is that the two sets, in fact three sets. So set 1, set 2, and this is the set 3, right? So three sets, all three sets are called the Cripps set. Cripps set because if a citizen belongs to a set, then he belongs to the set with a 100% confirmation. It is not that he will be belongs to this set as well belong to this set as well as belong to other sets. It's not like that. So in this sense, the three sets, they are called the Cripps sets. Now, if it is like this, then what is the fuzzy set? Now, on the other hand, fuzzy set is like a Cripps set, but a set element can be defined by another, what is called the function or another meters, or it is called the measurement, which is called the GS. So if S is an element belong to this set S, then it should be guided with one value which can be measured using a function called GS, where X is the population. That means all elements which are belong to set X. As an example, say suppose X is the all student in this course. And S I want to define all good student. Now here good is actually one subjective thing which want to express mathematically. So good means very good, extremely good, or okay good, or satisfactorily good. It is like that, right? Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to express this set S in a fuzzy manner. If we want to do it, then in presence of each element which is belong to this set S, that rather we can say belong to set all the students in this course, I want to include one measurement, what is called the GS. So this is the measurement of goodness of the student S. The student who is worst, that also GS value is having. So in that case, maybe the GS value is 0. And extremely one good student can have the value GS is equals to 1. Now again, you can ask me whether this goodness measurement or any measurement for an element belongs to a particular set all the times, whether it is within the range 0 to 1. I should say it is not necessary that it should be within the 0 to 1 both inclusive, but okay, our logic will be more precise if we can have a normalized value. That means all the member elements should be associated with a value which will be in between 0 to 1 both inclusive. So if it is even not in between 0 and 1 or in other some ranges also, absolutely no problem. We shall be easily converted into the normalized range 0 to 1. So here is an example. I don't know whether these kind of names of the participants are here or not. Anyway, so I can say Rajat is a participant, right, who is good, and his goodness is right, this one. Now it is 0.7, 0.1, 0.9. Now again you can ask me how this goodness measure you can tabulate it in this example. I can say that your coordinator, right, he organized one exam or feedback test, and then based on this assessment, I note down it, and then I say that Rajat is a good with 0.8 and this one. So it is based on some evaluation, okay, done by some expert, and then you can get it this kind of set. So this is an example of set, what is called the fuzzy set. Now this fuzzy set become crisp set if all these elements are not included. If all these elements are not included, right? Then you can understand what is the difference between a fuzzy set and then crisp set. So here is a few salient differences in brief. I think if you have understood the previous concept, so this is no need to do that one. So what I want to say that a crisp set is always fuzzy set, but the reverse is not true. Why I am saying so? Because in case of crisp set, if an element belongs to a set H, then it actually presents with the membership value is 1. So all the elements which are present into the crisp set, right, by default there is 1. As all the values is 1, so we don't write all these values into the set element because by default it is 1. If an element is not present in the set, but it is present in the population, then we can mention that its goodness value is 0. So as it is a default, so null set means that all the elements which are not present, they are with membership value is 0. So in that sense, we can say that all crisp sets are fuzzy sets because it can be defined in terms of two elements, the members as well as its goodness value or measurement of membership value, and the value of obviously only two values there, 0 and 1. On the other hand, in case of fuzzy sets, the value is any values, right, in between 0 and 1, both inclusive. Now, so this is one important thing that is involved in fuzzy set, what is called the degree of membership. I have already told you GS, if S is an element and if it is belongs to the fuzzy set S, then GS is actually called the degree of membership. So here, for example, city, these are the different elements which are the name of the cities, and mu, actually this degree of element in fuzzy algebra or fuzzy logic, it is defined as mu. Okay, so mu is actually called the membership or degree of membership of an element. So if I say mu of Bangalore, then it is 0.95, mu of Bombay, it is 0.90, and so on. So there are obviously some physical implication of what is the meaning of this, right? Physical implication you can understand. Apparently, what is the meaning of these sets, right? For every set has its own meaning. So I can give a meaningful implication of this set like cities of comfort, right? Now you can understand. So 0.95 means if you want to have your residence or if you have to plan for your future living, then you can decide that Bangalore should be the best cities to live. So because it has the city of comfort with highest degree of membership. So physical implication of a fuzzy set is like this. And physical implication of crisp set is also in the same way. Now, sets has its own application in many fields, in solving many problems. And here is an example. You can understand what is this example implies. So this example also, right, express you to categorize the different students, right, in a course. Now, how we can categorize the students in a course? I can take an exam, or I can take exam of 2, 3, 4 courses, and then I can tabulate all the marks, and then based on the marks, I can categorize. And then categorize that, okay, the students who are belong to the EX category, the students belong to A category, B category, like this one. So these are all sets. Some sets can be null, some sets can be, subsets of the entire sets of all students. Now you can understand, if we follow a set based on this rule, then this set is what? This set is a crisp set. Okay, so this is an example of the crisp set that we usually follow in our grading system. Now let's see what is the idea of the Cripps set, and then what is the idea of the fuzzy sets in this context. Now, if we pictorially draw the Cripps set, then we can have this kind of graph. So this is actually a pictorial description of the Cripps set. Now here you note down the mu is a degree of membership function, and here only two values, 0 and 1. So here there are some sets which belongs to group F, provided that the marks is 0 to 35, 35 above and 50, then the marks is 50, and this one. So this is a pictorial description. I'm giving this pictorial description because to learn a fuzzy concept or fuzzy logic, a pictures is very important, and I'll use many examples where I can show the figures to understand the concept. So this is the figure of a Cripps set, how it look like this. So as you see here, population is involved and many sets are involved, A, B, D, C, B, A, X. They are all Cripps sets. Now let's see how pictorially, if we want to have a fuzzy set, how actually it will look like. So this is the diagram that you can think about how a Cripps set look like this. Now here one thing that you can know, what is the Cripps set and how it is differentiable than the fuzzy set like. So here one student, suppose one student who got say maybe 34, then what is the implication? Implication meant that he can be F grade or he can be pass grade, right? Similarly, there may be one student, it is like this, right? And then he can be considered an EX grade, right? Or he can be considered only A grade, because all the EX grade fuzzily can be defined from this value to this value. Okay, so here you see some student who got the marks between 80 to 90 can be treated as EX, but that treatment based on some degree of membership value. So membership value, as we see, increasing, right, linearly, starting from the minimum value to some highest value in this case 90, and it may be say 83. So what is the meaning? The meaning is that instead of absolute grading, if you want to follow relative grading, then a student who got 85, he may be awarded A grade or EX grade, but this awarding depends on what is the fuzzy value, it is membership function. So if you are very confident to award him who got 85 marks as an EX grade, then definitely his membership value will be high. Otherwise, you can define him in a little bit weak manner like, okay, whatever way we can define a fuzzy elements this way. And this is an example of a fuzzy sets, and you can understand how the two things pictorially explain the difference between the two things. Now, I have given few examples. These examples are understandable, I believe, and then you have understood the concept. Now, let us see how the different elements in the world. I gave a comment that everything in the world can be expressed in a fuzzy. Our world is in fact a fuzzy world. How we can, right, how we can define different things those are involved in our world in a fuzzy manner. So temperature, which is a very common thing in our daily life, I can express the temperature using a fuzzy set. High temperature, for an example, also another fuzzy subset. Similarly, low pressure, color of an apple, sweetness of an orange, weight of a mango, and so many things are there. Now you can see all these things which cannot be expressed in a Cripps manner, but we can express very well in fuzzy manner if we follow the fuzzy concept. So in that case, what is the idea? The idea is that if you consider the temperature, then temperature should be associated with degree of membership, whose value should be within the range 0 to 1. Then we can say high temperature. So the temperature 50 degree is high temperature, and temperature 12 degree is also high temperature. But the concept is that temperature 50 degree is high temperature, maybe that its membership value is 0.99. The temperature 12 degree is also high temperature, but in membership value maybe say 0.01. So you can understand that a temperature, how it can be expressed in a fuzzy manner. So in order to define a fuzzy set, as you can understand about, a fuzzy set is a set of order pairs. So it consists two things. One is the element itself and the degree of membership of this element. where X is an element belong to a universe of discourse, which is actually the population of the entire elements. And so this way A become a fuzzy set. Okay. So this is the concept. I can give examples so that you can understand. X is the city of all cities in India. This is the universe of discourse. A is a city of comfort, and this is the fuzzy set which define how the city of comfort is. So this is actually our real life on example where a city can be treated as a city of comfort. So you can understand. Now this membership value, what is the type of the membership value that we can think about it? So in this example, as you see the range of values, whether it is in a discrete value or it is in a continuous value or what value it is there. So this value, if I don't say anything, then your answer will be these are the continuous values. That means any value in between 0 to 1, it can be the value of the membership, right? But the idea may not be like that. Okay, it can be any discrete value also. What is the idea? Say, for example, on discrete level is this one, another discrete level is this one, another discrete level is this one. That means you can define a fuzzy set with a level this one, another level this one, another level this one. So we can say the 3 different level of values that we can assign as a membership value for an element. So this is called the discrete, what is called the way the fuzzy set can be defined. Now here the element X. Now here you see the element X, whether it is in a continuous domain or not. So in this example, X can be any value in between this value and some highest value. Okay, so it is a continuous domain. But other things also valid. A fuzzy value can be discrete or it can be continuous. At the same time, the elements also can be discrete as well as can be continuous. For example, here 0, 2, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3 to up to 10, these are the different discrete value which can be used to define a fuzzy set. So here the elements are discrete value, the membership value can be discrete, can be continuous. In the range obviously 0 to 1, right? This is an example, number of children and then happiness measure of that family. So if a family have the 5, then happiness can be this membership value. That means it is like this one. So happiness of a family can be measured in terms of number of children in that family, and this is the way the fuzzy set can be defined. Now we have understood that the membership value can be discrete, can be continuous. The fuzzy element itself can be discrete, can be continuous. So usually in many fuzzy application where we have to build any fuzzy system like air conditioner or washing machine or microwave oven or like this, so they can be considered both in a continuous domain. That means any value can be, and my membership value also can be any value in between 0 to 1. So in that case, there should be some mathematical way how it can be represented. Now, before going to the mathematical way, say let us consider your elements in the fuzzy sets are defined by the membership value which look like this one. So it is like this. If it is less than 0 or it is less than say some value 2, then it will be 0. And as it is increasing but not linearly. It is increasing non-linearly and it is increasing within this pattern, right? And then decreasing after 50, it is in this pattern. So this is way we can define how the membership value, right, in a particular application can varies with the different values of the sets elements in it. So it is actually, for an example, age of a person, and a membership value is actually say intelligence level. So how the age varies with the intelligence level or vice versa, we can give it. Okay. Now, so this is a curve which look like, and if you know a little bit probability, then you know this curve in the field of probability, it is called the Gaussian distribution. So Gaussian distribution means it is a symmetric way the different values that can be distributed over a range, and there will be one value, it is called the peak value, right? Peak value indicates that this is the mean of the different elements that it is present there. Now, so this is the Gaussian distribution. That means the different elements in the set has its different membership values, which follows little bit the Gaussian distribution. This is definitely, it is a assumption in many applications all the member elements may not satisfy the Gaussian distribution, but it is very interesting to note that many applications satisfy the distribution of the different values like this one. So Gaussian distribution, that is why it's a very popular distribution which is being followed in many applications there. Now, if this is a Gaussian distribution, how will it look like this? So this function can be expressed using this formula. It is like that one. Okay. So in other words, if you follow MATLAB or any other programming language, right, and for plot mu b versus x, then you can see the curve that you get it is like this curve. Okay. So here we can say the fuzzy set B, which can be defined as an element x and its membership function like this one, this membership function will be there. Now the idea is that which something look like pictorially, which can express in mathematically, and all mathematical operations therefore can be applied, and you can write a program or you can develop a system. So everything is mathematics actually, right? So nothing is like this picture. Nothing is like this in an abstract form. Everything is very non-trivial expression. And this is the way of the mathematical expression by which a fuzzy set, for example, in this case, B, can be defined. Okay, so this is the idea about this fuzzy set. And then you can understand about fuzzy membership values, how it can be there in the context of fuzzy set. Now, I want to discuss more details little bit about the membership function here, which we denote as mu function. So sometimes membership function is called the mu function, as I have already discussed. One example where the mu function how look like, it is in the form of a Gaussian distribution, and the Gaussian distribution look like a bell shape or is a cap shape. So that is why it is called the cap function or bell function. But other than these functions, there are many other fuzzy membership functions known in the field of fuzzy logic. One function is, it is like this. It is actually takes the form like a triangular shape. This means that as the value of x changes, its membership function changes and follow this kind of pattern. Now, other than triangular, there is also trapezoidal shape. So it is the trapezoidal shape, which we have already familiar about the curve shape. Some non-uniform similarity set also known in the field, and this can be there also. Now, this is also another way of non-uniform fuzzy membership function. Now, here again, question that arises, if it is not the Gaussian distribution, if it is Gaussian distribution, then mu function can be defined using a formula. If it is not, then how a triangular form, how a non-trapezoidal form, how non-uniform like this or this can be expressed? What is the mathematical composition? I will come to this mathematical composition like this one. A triangular membership function can be defined in terms of three values. So A, B, and C. So A, B, C actually varies from one application to another. And this is actually along this, it is called the membership function. Mu value, it is here. Now here, what I want to mention is that A is one range from which the fuzzy set takes a pattern of certain form, and it is up to a B. And then B onwards, it will take another pattern. So this is the mathematical, this is the pictorial form. If it is, then mathematically we can express like this one. And it is actually, this is the set builder notation. If you know the set and then how to define a set, we usually follow this one. Here the logic is very clear. If x has the value less than or equals to 1, then its membership value will be 0. If the value of x, which is greater than a, we should say greater than a or greater than 0 also, and less than b, then its value is x minus a minus b. Now here x minus a minus b actually nothing but the slope of this line. Okay, it is nothing but the slope of this line. Similarly, slope of this line, which is actually defined how the membership value will be changes. So this is the slope of this line, and the other is 0. Now you can understand that a triangular membership function can be defined mathematically with this kind of composition. So forget about picture. If it is given to you, then okay, you can write a program based on this rule that you can follow how the membership value can be. Likewise, a trapezoidal membership function should be defined with 4 parameters in it. And that is why it is the notation that a trapezoidal membership function mu can be defined, and this is the rule. It is the same as the rule of triangle membership function. In between here, actually, it is the idea, it is 1. It may be 1, it may not be 1, depending on your application. It can be less than 1 also. So whatever. So this is the idea that a trapezoidal membership function can be defined. Likewise, all the other membership function also we can define. And this is an example of another Gaussian distribution which also can be expressed this way. Now here in this case, we need two parameters, one C and sigma. C called the mean value, or it is called the mean location, and sigma is called the variance. So a little bit understanding of the probability is helpful to understand it. So the Gaussian distribution can be expressed in terms of C, the mean, and sigma, the standard deviation. So if you given a set of value, you can easily calculate C, the mean value, and also you can easily calculate the standard deviation. Using these two values, you will be able to define the Gaussian membership function. Gaussian membership function is a very popular membership function, are used in many applications in fuzzy. Now, like Gaussian distribution function, there is another also, it is very similar to the Gaussian distribution. It is called the generalized Cauchy membership function. It is similar kind of Gaussian membership function, but it is defined in terms of three parameters. Only this is the difference. Earlier, the Gaussian defines in terms of C and sigma, where it is defined in terms of A, B, and C. What is the A, B, and C, the definition? It is actually slope. So at any x, if the slope of this line, because this slope is changing, so at different points slope is changing. So usually the slope is b by 2a, and in the negative slope is minus b by 2a, and c is the same as the median location or mean location, we can say. So it is there. So in terms of a, b, c, we can define another membership function which is called the Bell membership function, or generalized Bell membership function. Now there are, okay, this is an example of a generalized Bell membership function with value a, b equals to 1 and c equals to 1. And if you plot this, the graph will look like this. So this form expression and these terms, they are synonymous in the sense that they are giving the same information to us. Now, if we change the values of a, b, c, definitely this structure will change. And this structure is therefore, with the fine tuning of the values of a, b, and c in different fuzzy application, we can define the different fuzzy membership function for different fuzzy sets, and then you can solve many problems there. So only the change of parameters that we can use, and then you can define. For example, triangular membership function with different values of a, b, and c, we can have the different membership function, but they are all belongs to the triangular membership function. So the concept is like that. Now this is another popular membership function. It is called the sigmoid membership function. As you see in the extreme case, it look like this, right? If it has only two values, 0 and 1, so it is just. Otherwise, it just like a sigmoid function, it like that. So it is capital S or summation, these kind of things are there. Now, so for different values of the different parameter, which is used here A and C, where C is called the crossover point and A is called slope. C is the crossover point, means where it takes this value, and A is the slope of this line actually. And here, this is the form that you can take. It is just like a other membership function like generalized Bell membership function, but it's a different composition as you see here. So how the sigmoid function can be expressed. Now, sigmoid function is a very popular function being used in our neural network to define a neuron in our computing. So this is one example that you can use in also to define your fuzzy membership function, that is very much useful. Okay, we have done about the many membership function. Now let's come to the discussion of one concept. As I told you, if we want to have a grading system not in a Cripps manner but in a fuzzy manner, then definitely what is essential is that for each set, this one on this one, you have to define a membership function. So you can use a Gaussian membership curve or triangular curve or any other trapezoidal curve that actually fits more suitable to this one. So here is an example that all the elements which we can express, which form you can understand, this is actually just like a generalized Bell membership function. What I want to say that each rule or each subset, that is if you want to define the fuzzy set, say very good, as a grading of a student, then we can define in terms of a membership function, and that can be used as a Gaussian membership function or Bell's membership function. So if you do it, then your fuzzy sets will look like this. So this is a pictorial description of that one. Okay, so this we have learned about the concept of fuzzy sets. Now let's see what are the operations that we can apply on the fuzzy sets. And this is important. After knowing this fuzzy sets. So we have to know exactly what are the operations that we can do so that the fuzzy, so we have learned about fuzzy elements, and after knowing the fuzzy elements, how the fuzzy rules that we can define. Now these fuzzy rules, to use it, then we have to follow the different operations that we can apply on the fuzzy set. Now, what are the operations that you can apply on so-called our Cripps set, which is used in relational algebra? You know, union, intersection, then complement, like this. So similarly, in case of fuzzy set, we also apply this kind of operation. So union operation, which is usually A cup B. So it is denoted this one. Now, how this operation can be defined? Actually, it is defined by means of its membership value redefinition. What is the membership value redefinition? So for the union of an elements belongs to a set, it is actually max value of mu x and mu bx. Now here, for an example, A is a set, fuzzy set of course, B is another fuzzy set. Now C, if I want to have a membership value, okay, is a union of two sets A and B. Okay, sorry, yeah, right. So if it is a C is a set which is an union of two sets A and B, then we can have this kind of value. You can understand. So here the union of this element. So taking the max. So what is that? This is this one. Now 0.1 and this 0.3 are the union of an element which belongs to two sets A and B. Then its value is 0.2. So you can understand that how the union of a fuzzy sets can be defined. So it is actually taking the max value of the membership values are the membership values of the elements which belong to the union of the two fuzzy sets. So if this is the fuzzy sets which are actually defined by two elements, it is like this. So it is a pictorial. So A is shown by this graph, B is shown by this graph, and then how their fuzzy set union of the two things will shown it here. As you see here, union of the two things means it will take the union of the max of the two. So it is actually, it is like this way. So it is this part, right? And then after this is the maximum it will take it. So then this will take it. So, okay. So union of the two figures like this and this will be like this. Similarly, the intersection like the union, but here the mean value will be considered. So mean of mu x and mu bx. So if it is A and B, then mean, then the intersection of the two fuzzy sets A and B, which can be expressed this one. So taking the mean and. So again, this is the representation graphically, this one, and the representation of intersection graphically, it is this one. So here, right, we are taking up to this one, mean of this, so this one, right? So it is like this one, right? And then this is the mean, means it is the mean, so we have to take this one. So this is why it is the intersection of the two plots, mu and mu b, giving you the intersection of the membership function of the set C. Now again, you can understand. So all those things both can be defined, right, pictorially as well can define mathematically by writing a simple program like in C or Java or even Python or MATLAB. So this is the idea that you can follow. So far the intersection is concerned. Likewise, there is a complement. It is like if the set is A and then another set that we want to derive from the set A, and let it be the complement of the set A. Say let it be C. We usually denote A bar or AC like this one. And you can understand what is the form actually this the complement set will be. The definition is very pretty simple. 1 minus mu x. So it is 0.5, 1 minus 0.5, 0.5. It is 1 minus 0.1, 0.9, and 1 minus 0.4, it is 0.6. Now pictorially, this is the set form of the fuzzy set A, and then complement, it will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. So complement of this, actually, as we see, it is like this complement. So complement means, so it is 1 minus this, right? So complement, it is like this. So this is the membership function of the complement of the set. So this way, both can be done. I have defined three operations, union, intersection, and complement. Likewise, there are many more operations are known in the fuzzy algebra. One is called the algebraic product. Sometimes it is called the vector product, which is denoted as A dot B. So A dot B means how its membership function will be defined. So it is called the mu A dot B, which is actually product of the two membership values from the set A and set B, which are belong to both. So it is there. And you can note down that as mu A within less than equals to 1 and mu B also within less than equals to 1 starting from 0. So this product also will be within 0 to 1. So this way it satisfies always normalized value. There is another operation, it is called the scalar product. So if we want to define a fuzzy set A and it is multiplied by a scalar value, this alpha value should be within 0 to 1. Of course, it should not be any value because it will give the membership value mu alpha A, which is actually product of a scalar value multiplied by the membership value. So that is why it should be also within the range 0 to 1. So this is a scalar product. Now likewise there are many other operations it is there. For example, here sum A plus B whose membership value can be defined. This is one. So here the Pagi developer, they provide this definition and we have to follow it. You can find some similarity of this definition with some concept of theory of probability. So sometimes people are confused about fuzzy theory and probability theory also. Anyway, so it is just like what is the probability that if an event A occurs and B occurs, that probability that both A and B will occur. So it is P A plus B like this one. Anyway, so similarly, the difference operation which can be defined using this formula. Now here you see it is nothing but the intersection as the defined of A and B. So difference between A and B, A minus B set, A plus B set like this one. Likewise, there are few more operations known in the field of fuzzy logic called the disjunctive sum, which is the operation it is used JOR values. So it is JOR values. It is like this, and it is defined using this mathematical composition. I just don't want to discuss in details because it needs a little bit mathematical concept, same as our set builder concept, and you can use it there. So bounded sum, it is like this, but it is the operation is like this one, which is defined by this one. So these are the definition that you have to remember in order to apply a particular operation, okay, between the two sets that we want to carry out. So like sum, difference, disjunctive sum, bounded difference, only these are the different rule that you have to follow how the operation is there. So every operation is governed by certain rules, and that rules needs to be learned. And if you learn these rules, you will be able to define any fuzzy sets of your own. Now this is another operations. One is called the equality of the two fuzzy sets. When we can define whether two sets are same or not, we can say for each element X belong to A and B, if we find their membership value is same, then we can say this is A equals to B. And also power set or fuzzy set it is there, A to the power alpha. So it is defined using this formula. So it is actually another expression. It is not the scalar product. It is actually power value, and this value can be used to have a definition of dilation and concentration. That means if you have defined a fuzzy set, say ion, and from that fuzzy set, if you want to find a very ion, then you can use this power of fuzzy set ion by a multiplication alpha, and then very ion can be defined. If you want to define very ion, then alpha value will be definitely different than the very ion. So taking the different values of alpha, we will be able to define different fuzzy sets given a fuzzy sets. So these are the different applications of the different operations that we can have. Now one very popular and very important operations on fuzzy sets, it is called the Cartesian product, which can be defined as a cross. So it is called the cross product of two fuzzy sets A, B. Now this is the formula that we can use to define how the cross product of two fuzzy sets or Cartesian product of two fuzzy sets can be explained. So I can give an explanation to understand how this Cartesian product can be obtained. Say suppose A and B are the two fuzzy sets. Now you can note down one thing. In the earlier operation, both A and B, if you want to apply sum or union or intersection, they have the same size of the fuzzy set. Okay, and and then same set of elements. But here, in case of Cartesian product, we can apply this operation on two fuzzy sets. They are from maybe two different universe of discourse, or maybe the different elements belongs to each from the same universe of discourse. So here an example, we took two fuzzy sets A from the universe of discourse, say capital X, another fuzzy set B from the another universe of discourse, say capital Y, and definitely from the two universe of discourses, This means that the number of elements that belongs to the two sets may not be the same. So here is an example. Now this Cartesian product better can be expressed in a matrix form. These are the different elements belong to the set A, and these are the different elements belong to the set B. Then the membership value of this Cartesian product can be expressed this one. So if we take x and 1, then we take the minimum of this one. So this entry is there. Now here, for example, this one. So x3 and y2. So x3 and y2 taking the minimum of 0.5 and 0.6. So this is the entry. So this matrix actually represents the result of the Cartesian product of two fuzzy sets A and B, and this is the rule. And this is again used, understand, so it can be obtained mathematically. So if two sets are given to you by this composition, you will be able to apply the operation Cartesian product. The outcome of the operation, that means result, right? Because each operation takes some arguments and it will return a value. So it takes two arguments A and B, and the return a value. Value is a complex value, rather it is in the form of a matrix form. So this is the idea of the Cartesian product, and this Cartesian product satisfy not Cartesian product, all the fuzzy operations which we have done so far, the union intersection operations are concerned, they follow this kind of property. And if you know about little bit set theory, or you know little bit about the predicate logic, or even the Boolean logic, you can understand all these operations are also valid operations. Those are there in Boolean algebra, or even the set algebra, relation algebra. So this is called the commutative property, this is called the associative property, this is called the distributive property. All properties holds good for fuzzy sets as well as. And then another property like idemtotence, transitivity, involution, De Morgan's law, all those properties which are applicable to Boolean algebra, relational algebra, also applicable to fuzzy algebra. Now, I just want to skip all this example because our time will not permit, right? Now, let's come to few idea about how those operations are meaningful in the context of our daily life understanding. I can give an example. Suppose these are the few things we want to define in a fuzzy form. Say climate we want to define in a fuzzy form, and one particular climate we want to define is not cold climate, or say not hot climate, or is a extreme climate or pleasant climate. So climate has the different what is called the fuzzy instances. Now this is called the fuzzy linguistics. That means climate, if it is like this, and for example here, so it is okay. Say A is a cold climate, B is hot climate. Okay, you can define when in your region or in your place the climate can be cold. So here, as I see, climate can be cold if the temperature is -15 to 25. And how this cold climate can be varies with their membership values, we have given. This is the pictorial form of the membership value. This can be expressed in terms of a trapezoidal membership function. Now there is another fuzzy set, it is called the hot climate. Hot climate, how it can be defined? If the temperature is above 5 and then beyond 5 and up to 50 or more than 50, then it will vary like this one. So here the two membership function that can be defined using any membership function expression that we have learned, like say trapezoidal or triangular, and then we can use it to define it. So this mu A and mu B, suppose it is defined by you using say trapezoidal membership function. And given these two membership function, we can derive many more fuzzy sets from the two sets A and B, like, and for your not cold climate. Now you can tell me how this not cold climate can be defined. Okay, you are right. If the cold climate is like this, so not cold climate means we can take the complement. Similarly, not hot climate, we can take the complement. So these two fuzzy sets can be defined from the cold climate by taking one operation on it. Now extreme climate. We can take the power set of that fuzzy set, either both hot and then both cold. Or we can say take the union of cold and hot and then take the power set of the union set of the two sets, and then you can get it. Now pleasant climate, we can say it is intersection between the not cold climate and hot climate. This way you can see different operations can be applied, right? Starting with the two fuzzy state, or we can say two fuzzy linguistics to obtain many other fuzzy sets from there. So actually it is like this. In case of data processing, from given 2 or 3 or more data, we can produce many other data, but it needs some operations to be performed on the data. So this way you can get it. Now here is an example which I told you, not cold climate, we can be obtained like this, hot, not hot climate, and then extreme climate, and then present climate, it is like this. So this way we can define the different operations to be applied on the different sets, thereby we can obtain many other fuzzy sets, which is actually the outcome of the result. Okay, so this is about the fuzzy operations applicable to the fuzzy sets only. So we have learned two things, fuzzy sets followed by the fuzzy operation. So this way we will be able to manipulate any fuzzy elements that you can use to define your fuzzy system. Now, next thing that is important to know about fuzzy relations. So fuzzy relations is another extension of the fuzzy operations. Let's see what do you mean by the fuzzy relation. Now, in order to understand the fuzzy relation, it is very, okay, it will be more appropriate if we learn about the Cripps relation. So first we shall discuss about when a relation between two Cripps set can be defined, and we can say that Cripps relation it is. And there are many operations which can be applied on the Cripps relation. And then we can conclude this Cripps concept with an example. And thereby next we shall come to the fuzzy relation, operations on fuzzy relation, and few examples. So this will make our understanding very complete so far the fuzzy operation is concerned. Now let's see what is the Cripps relation. Okay, now as you know, Cripps relation, right? Actually, if A and B are the two Cripps sets, then the Cripps relation we can define by means of their Cartesian product. Cartesian product we have learned about it. It is A cross B. Actually, it will give the set of order pairs AB, which we can express in the form of a matrix, where all the elements those that belongs to set A can be these sides, and all elements belong to the set B can be these sides. And AB is the order pair. So any entry that is there for the element A and for the set B, and that is actually the A comma B is the element it is there. So this way the Cripps relation is nothing but it is a Cartesian product of two sets. Now here in case of Cripps set, as you know, their membership value is either 1 or 0. Okay, so their entry will be also, because it is the mean of the two values, so it will be also 0 or 1, any two values are there, right? And these are the different properties for the Cripps relation that holds good, which is there. Now what I can say, this is an example, that is the output of a Cartesian product is nothing but the result of the two fuzzy sets, and this is called the relation between the two fuzzy sets A and B, and this is called the relation. And this is actually called the relation matrix, that is why. Okay, so if we apply the Cartesian product between the two sets, it will give a matrix, and this matrix is nothing but the relation matrix. Okay, so is an example. So here A and B are the two sets, and the element that those that belong to the two sets are like this. Then A cross B that we can see. So this is giving the all order pair collection that is possible from set A to set B. And then we can define one relation operation, which is like this. Okay, so this is the relation that, so these are the all possible order pairs, but all possible order pairs may not be included in the set. So we can impose a relation that is actually that if the two order pair A and B belongs to a relation, and if they satisfy this rule, that means B is 1 in greater than by the value of A, then we can say AB, the order pair which is belong to the relation matrix A cross B. Got it, right? So now with this example, so how the relation matrix will look like this? So your relation matrix will look like this with two elements in it. So 2, 3 and 4, 5. Because if you see These are the two elements that we can define it like this one. Now, so here the relation matrix that we can have, all entries are 0 except the two entries in the second row, third column, and fourth row, fifth column. Their entries are 1. Other entries are all 0. So this way the relation matrix in this case can be defined. Okay. Now, so we have learned about the Cripps relation, and here is an example of the Cripps relation that we can think so that we can have it. So this is Cripps relation, and so here I can give an example of the two Cripps relation and then operation on the two Cripps relation. So likewise, the operations on the set, there is also union, because here the relations are in the form of matrix. And so the union of the two relations also will give you another matrix. Now, how the elements or entries in the matrix can be obtained? This matrix can be obtained by taking the max value. So this way, the Cripps operation, so far the union of two relations can be obtained. Similarly, intersection of two relations can be obtained by taking mean, and then complement of a relation can be obtained by taking 1 minus the value of this one. Let's see one example so that you can understand. So R and S are the two sets, two relations, right? And then union operation that we can have, you can easily obtain it using that formula, right? Okay, so this you can get it. So R union S, R intersection S, and complement, that you can obtain using only the max value and mean value. So it is R union S that can be taken. So it is 0 and 1. So taking the max, so the element will be 1. And 1 and 0. So taking the max, so it will be also 1. And 0 and 0. So this will be 0. And it is 0 and it is 0. Taking the max of the two, it is 0. So the first row can be obtained. So this way, the other rows also can be obtained. All right, you can follow this one. And this is for the union of two relations. Similarly, intersection of the two relations also you can obtain it. So we have learned about it. Now here, application of these two things. Another operation is called composition. Composition is a very important operation so far the two relations are concerned. So it is the idea about given two relations, how you can obtain another relation. We have learned about union, intersection, and complement. Now we shall be able to learn about another composition. So usually composition operation symbol, it is used by this one. So it is a small dot. So the two operand R and S, and the operation is this one. So it is called the composition operation. Now let's see how this composition operation can be defined. It is little bit difficult operations because it is like if R is the set which can be obtained between X and Y, and S can be from X to J, Y to Z, then R composition S meaning it is X to Z. So R is the relation which is the relation obtained from the two sets having the order elements, say X and Y. Similarly, YZ is another fuzzy set, Cripps set, taking the universe of discourse Y and Z, and then XZ is actually another fuzzy set that can be obtained giving the relation between X to Z. So XY, YZ, and the relation says X to Z. It is the concept, it is like this one, right? Now, so how the R composition S can be defined? There is one operation which is called max mean composition operation. It is just similarly the matrix calculation operation that you can think about it. So it is first take the mean, right? And then taking the max. What is the idea? If this is the one matrix and this is the composition, it is another matrix, right? So this is the matrix R, and this is the matrix S. So R composition S for the first element, so this will give you what is the output? Output will be another matrix, right? So this element can be obtained by taking this direction if you go row and this direction if you go column, right? And taking the max of all the elements which are belong to that, and then finally for all the max value that we can take it. I can tell you one example. So this is the one element and this is the one element. So take the max of the two. The next element, and then next element. Take the max of the two. And likewise, these are last element, these are last element, take the max of two. So this will give you a set of max values that can be obtained traveling this direction and this direction. So all the max value that can be obtained. Now out of all the max value, if you take the mean value, then this will give you the mean. So this way it is called the max mean composition. Now, so this is a max mean composition that you can apply and then you can have it. Now here is an example. X is a set, Y is another set. So we can say the two inverse of discourse. And this is the relation R, which is defined by this relation matrix, a relation composition. And S is another relation. So for this X and Y, the two relation R and S actually can be obtained, which look like this and this one. So based on this, write to composition. Then R composition S can be obtained using max mean rule, which entry is like this. I hope you are able to understand. So here the R relation states the relation between X and Y. This relation between give the relation Y and Z. Then RS actually give the relation between X and Z. So the idea it is like this. So if the relation is available from the two things, then we shall be able to give the relation from the other any things also, and that is the application. Now what we have learned for the Cripps set, actually they are equally applicable for the fuzzy relations as well as. Only the difference is that in case of Cripps set, the membership value is 0 or 1, only out of two values. But in case of fuzzy set, it is actually the value in between 0 and 1, any value that you can take. If it is a continuous value, if it is a discrete value, then depends the discrete set of values, but in between 0 to 1. So whole the application that we have learned about so far the Cripps set, it is also equally applicable for the fuzzy set. Now I can tell an example of the application of fuzzy relation, how you can obtain it. So let us consider this example. It is a very easy example to understand. Now here X is a set. This set defines the set of diseases like this one. Now Y is another set. These are set of symptoms of the diseases, like say COVID symptoms like, okay, so typhoid, viral cold, and then running nose, high temperature, shivering, etc. Now here, if a particular disease occurs for a patient, then how the symptoms will like this one. For example, if it is a typhoid, then running nose, it is yes, but with strain 0.1. High temperature, yes, and then shivering, it is there. So all the membership values indicates having the typhoid as a disease, what are the symptoms that it can be. So like this viral and then cold also it is there. So this is actually the disease and its symptoms which can be expressed in the forms of a fuzzy relation. So this is R is a fuzzy relation showing the symptoms and the disease that it can be. So likewise, if you want to build an expert system, you can take many diseases and then many symptoms and then a complex relation that is R, which can be stored in the form of a matrix that is called the rule base or database of your rules. Anyway, so this example says a fuzzy rule is nothing but is a database of rules like. Now I can tell what are the different operations that we can apply on it. Okay, all the operations like union of two relations, intersection of two relations, complement, all those things you can apply it very easily. Now I want to apply one Cartesian product, that is the composition operation between the two fuzzy sets. So here first I can derive what is the A cross B. So A cross B is a Cartesian product of the two fuzzy sets A, B, and R can be the given relation satisfying a relation rule applying on it. Now here, for example, mu R xy is actually the rule that we can apply the mean value of this one. This is a pretty simple example, but it is not necessarily the mean on. You can define any complex composition or complex relation definition to define the mu R also, right? I just for an example, I use a very simple one mean calculation. Now here is an example that you can find it. A is a fuzzy set, B is another fuzzy set with the different elements in it like this. And then relation R, A cross B, taking the mean value of that things, we can obtain it. So here A1 and B1 taking the mean value. So that is why it is coming there. So this way relation of the fuzzy sets can be obtained. After having this relation, we can apply union, intersection, and then complement. It is the same way. Now let's see what is the composition, the operation that we can follow it. Again, you can consider the max mean composition that we can have for the Cripps relation. Also we can define it. So here is an example. X is one set, X is one set, Y is another set, Z is another set. And then this is the relation R, this is the relation S, relation R giving the relation from X to Y, and S giving the relation from Y to Z. And this relation therefore giving the relation from X to Z. As you see, all the elements which belong to the universe of discourse X, and all the elements which are belong to the universe of discourse Z, and it is there. So this relation value that can be obtained, that means each entry in this relation matrix can be obtained using the rule that I have already discussed, that max-min rule, it is there. An example in the real life situation that we can follow it here. This is an example. Say P is a set and D is another set. Let's say P set defined as the set of all varieties of paddy plants. And D is the different disease that a plant can be susceptible to. Okay, so P and D are the two sets. At the moment, they are called Cripps set. But again, I can define one relationship between the P and D, showing how the relation that is there between P and D, given that the varieties of paddy plant, as I told you, but they can be also defined in a fuzzy manner. So if it is a fuzzy manner, then they should be with some membership value. So P1 has its membership value, P2 has its membership value, and like this. Similarly, D1 has its membership value. Those membership value I have not given it here, but you can understand any membership value. And for some membership value, we can have a relation, and this relation shows the relation between a paddy plant and the disease that the paddy plant can have. And these are the entries of the right. So this is a relation, and this relation showing the disease and the paddy plant relation between the two things. Now here, S is another set, right? S is another set. Let the symptom of the disease, right? If there is a plant, then how the disease can be, the symptoms is there. For example, this is a disease, whether the leaf will be swollen or shrunk, or the flower will be colorless, or this kind of disease that we can define it, and those disease can be expressed in this form also. Okay, so we have therefore two relations, R and S. The relation R showing the plant versus disease, and then relation S showing the disease versus symptoms. Now here, let us take the man-mix composition between the two relation RS. What it gives? It gives that if a plant and have this symptom, then what is the plant versus symptom? So this P1 plant having the symptoms, these are the symptoms usually occur. So this gives the relationship between a plant and then symptoms that it usually shows to an agriculture or farmer like this one. So this way you will be able to understand how the different operations on fuzzy element, including the operations on relation, is applicable. Okay, I just want to skip this is because it is not much required here. Okay, so we have understand about it. Now here, interestingly, the fuzzy logic is very much close to our English logic. That means English statement. What I want to say is that usually in our English, we like this kind of what is called the statement. Now I said a relation actually represents a rule. That is what I said earlier, right? So similarly, if it is a rule, then even we can apply the rule like this. What is the meaning? If X is A or Y is B, then Z is C. Now here actually two things are involved in this rule. What is called? One is called this is, and another is called this one. So as actually X is A, that means if A is a fuzzy set, X is A is actually a fuzzy set, and Y is B another fuzzy set. So we can say A and B are the two fuzzy sets, and this rule actually give a relation having a fuzzy set A and B and producing another fuzzy set C. So we can say this one, if X is A, then Z is C, because it is OR composition. So I can like this one. If Y is B, then Z is C, we can like this one. And here it is OR operation is involved. So I can take the union of these two sets R1 and R2 to get the rule, this one. So what I understand is that if X is A or Y is B, then Z is C. This can be expressed by means of intersection of two fuzzy relations R1 and R2. How the two fuzzy relation can be obtained? They can be obtained by Cartesian product among A and C and B and C. And then it is actually OR, so we can take the max composition rule. And it is max, so it is called the union operation. So again, if I change the rule, if X is A and Y is B, then Z is C. Then you can understand, in this case, it is not the union, rather in this case, it will be the intersection operation. Similarly, if X is not A, then Z is C. So this can be obtained by the complement of the relation. So this way, the relation is applicable to the fuzzy operation. So far you have learned about fuzzy set, you have learned about fuzzy operations, you have learned about fuzzy relations. Now, all this concept is therefore required to define another concept. It is called the fuzzy proposition. Now, let us have the concept of fuzzy proposition. Once we know the fuzzy proposition, then we shall be able to learn about fuzzy inferences. And finally, it is a fuzzy implication, which is actually used in our fuzzy system building. So, hold the concept if you learn, then you will be able to build a fuzzy system of your own. That is actually the objective of this discussion. So now let's see what is the fuzzy proposition. Actually, everything that we can discuss in relational algebra, even in the Boolean logic and in the fuzzy logic, they are in the form of a proposition. So proposition means if I say sun rises in the west, then it is actually a proposition. What is the truth value? Truth value is false. Okay, now a baby is born. If I say the baby is girl, now it can be true, it can be false, depending on whether baby is girl or baby is boy. Now, so proposition is actually a statement, and each statement has its value. So value can be yes or no, and if it is only yes or no, then it is called the two-valued proposition. On the other hand, if the value is any value, right, beyond two-valued this one, then it is called the multi-value logic. Now, all set algebra, relational algebra, your predicate logic, your Boolean logic, they are actually two-value logic. On the other hand, your fuzzy logic actually multi-valued logic. Now, you know possibly how the two-value logic can be expressed, right? Let's first have some example of fuzzy proposition, and then we can start with the Crisp proposition because it is easy to understand, and then we can come directly from the Crisp proposition to the fuzzy proposition, and then some operation on the fuzzy proposition to be understood. Then only we will be able to complete this discussion. So whenever you are learning something, you have to know exactly how a particular element can be defined, what are the operation, and finally, what is the application. So three things are very important. Whether it is a fuzzy set, whether it is a fuzzy relation, whether it is a fuzzy proposition, it is true for there. Now, so two-value logic versus multi-value logic. True value means only outcome is true. So true or false. You can recall the first slide that I have shown it. India is our beautiful country. Right, so it can be only true value, yes or no, or it can be in between true and false also. So if it is in between true and false, then what is the value? If it is true, okay, we can understand that the value is 1. If it is false, then we can understand the value is 0. But if it is in between true and false, then its value can be 0.1, it can be 0.2, it can be 0.88, or like this one. So there are infinite set of values that is possible in between two values. So the problem here is that if it is a multi-value logic, what is the level of values? So definitely it should not be infinite level of values because it is not possible, it is not feasible to develop any system. So there should be some finite set of values of logic that can be considered. But what I want to say is that this finite set of values should be more than 2. Okay, if it is only 2, then it is a two-value logic, and if it is more than 2, then it is a multi-value logic. Okay, now let us see the idea about the multi-value logic and then two-value logic and the difference between the two things it is there. So in case of multi-value logic, say 3-valued, then true say it is 1 and false it is say 0. Then in between true and false, the another level we can define say 0.5. Now, so 3-value logic, therefore, with truth value 1, 0, and 0.5. Now, if I express you how the multi-value logic, say 4 levels. So I can write like 1, 0.3, 0.7, and another is 0. Okay, so this way 4 level, similarly 5 level, 6 level. So the idea is that all the levels we can give it, and then that multi-value logic is quite possible. Now I just want to give an example about two-value logic versus multi-value logic. Say suppose A and B are the two variables, right? If they are true value, then only 0 and 1. So in that case, it is not required, right? These are not required because these are required only for the three-value logic. But if it is a three-value logic, then we can express one valued, it is there. So this is the Boolean truth table. I should not say it is, I should not say that the Boolean truth table, rather we can say multi-value truth table. In case of Boolean truth table, only 0, 1. So in case of Boolean truth table, if the two logic values are there, only 4 entries will be there, right? Okay. So it is actually 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So 4 rows. But in case of three, right, 3 logic value, it should be 8, right? Here, for example, 8 rows are there. So as you see, 0, 0, 1 set, then 1, 1 half, and then this one. And for each 0, 0, then these are the different possibilities are there. So in general, if the number of multi-valued is n, so the number of rows that can be there is 2 to the power n. So if it is 3, then 8. If it is 4, then 16, and so on, so on. And then entry in each things will be there. Now here you see, if A is 0, B is 0, and then the operation, different operation. So this is actually symbolic representation of and this is for symbolic operation or and not. And it is another, it's called the implies. Implies is a very common operation in Boolean logic. If you know Boolean logic, you can understand. I will discuss about the implication operation also. Now here, if you see A and B are the two Boolean logic, that means two values. And if it is value 0 and 0, then AND will give 0 or will give 0. Similarly here, AND will give 0, 1, 0 and or will give 1. So these are the pretty serious, right? Now here you see for the multi-value logic, it is like this. Then it is actually, this is the AND operation. AND operation is minimum, right? And an OR operation is maximum. So if it is 0 and 1, so taking the minimum it is and maximum it is this one. Now here also if you see, if it is the one A is 0 and B is half, so taking the mean, so it is 0, and taking the max, it is there. So actually all the logic that is there can be extended if we apply the fuzzy operations onto that, and this can be obtained, it is there. And then complement of A is quite easy. For example, if A is 1 by 2, complement of A is minus 1 minus mu A, like, so 1 minus half, so it is half, it is like this. So all the entries for beyond, okay, on these operations, we shall be able to tabulate it here, and it can be there. Now implication operation, actually it is A complement or B. So this one, if you apply this one, then you will be able to find the entry of this A implies B. That means A implies B. So it is the A complement or B. So this is the implication. And equal is if A equals to B, then it will be actually 1. If it is not equal, then it will be 0. And then if it is equal, so taking the mean of the two, so that will be the opposition, it is there. So all these operations, those we have already learned, so far the fuzzy operation is concerned, we can apply, and more significantly, we can apply to whether it is a two-value logic or is a multi-value logic. So this table shows the multi-value logic in terms of more than 3 truth values, actually you can say. So here is the detailed description of the 3-value logic. Not operation is a not P. This is actually 1 minus TP. TP here is actually mu P, you can say. And OR is max operation. We have already defined it. So P or Q, that means union of two fuzzy sets. Similarly, AND operation, it is mean. And implies operation, which we can apply, actually it is like this. P implies Q, meaning not P or Q, right? So it is actually in terms of your fuzzy membership function, we can say max 1 minus 2 TP and TQ. Okay. 1 minus TP and TQ. And similarly, equality operation, P equals to Q, it implies that P implies Q and Q implies P. So P implies Q, we can define. Similarly, Q implies P, we can define. And taking the AND operation. So in summary, we can take in the terms of membership function, 1 minus TP and TQ. So TP is a membership function for the set P and TQ is the membership function for the set Q. This is another notation that we can use to represent this logic actually. So this is the idea about the multi-value logic that you can come into the picture. Now let's see one example that we can use it. Say Ram is honest. So this is a proposition. Now these are the truth value of this proposition. If it is a creeps only, then 0 and 1. But as it is a fuzzy proposition, so Ram is honest can be expressed fuzzily, like these are the different fuzzy levels that we can have. So having this is the fuzzy linguistic that Ram is honest, and we denote this as a proposition, say it is P. Then TP are the membership values that the Ram is honest is how much. And this is actually the physical meaning that how it is there. So this is the TP values that we can obtain for the fuzzy set P. And then we can have another example so that P is another fuzzy set. P is another fuzzy set. So Mary is efficient. And this is the TP value. Q is Ram is efficient, another TP value. Now Mary is not efficient, which actually is the fuzzy proposition that we can have using 1 minus TP. And this is actually the Mary is not efficient is a fuzzy proposition with degree is 0.2. Now likewise, these are many examples that we can explain, and all these are the fuzzy expression that we can express in our common daily languages like English, but they can be mathematically expressed in terms of fuzzy algebra, which I am showing here. For example, Mary is efficient and so is Ram. We can represent like this one. And so many examples that we can give like this one, either Mary or Ram is efficient. If I ask you to express using the fuzzy notation, so this is your answer. So likewise, given two proposition or two or more proposition, we shall be able to develop many other proposition. If Mary is efficient, then so is Ram. So actually it is a P implies Q. And that can be obtained mathematically, it is like this. So as we understand that for all proposition P and Q, we can apply the fuzzy logic into it, and then we can obtain many other proposition. And for each proposition, there is a truth value, and like this one. So okay, and this way we can compute the fuzzy elements from the given two fuzzy sets. As we understand that a fuzzy rule like this, a fuzzy proposition can be obtained from the fuzzy set itself. A fuzzy proposition is in its simplest form, it is actually the fuzzy sets actually. And then we can apply the different operations on it. So from the two fuzzy sets, we can get another fuzzy set, that means another fuzzy proposition. And then we can apply this fuzzy proposition using multi-value logic. Actually, in our fuzzy case, it is multi-value logic, and then we can have many other fuzzy proposition. So the idea is that from any elements, we will be able to get many more elements that we can have it, right? And now here is an example. Suppose intelligent is a fuzzy linguistic. So X is intelligent. So if X1 is an element, one student maybe, that intelligence level is 0.3, X2 another level 0.4, and like this one. So intelligence level can be expressed for the different elements that taking from the particular universe of discourse, it is like this. So if so intelligent, X is intelligent, right? So X is intelligent actually is a fuzzy proposition which actually defined in terms of fuzzy set, which is shown here. Now we define therefore fuzzy proposition, and then we can have the different operation on this fuzzy proposition which we have discussed, and then we will be able to define different fuzzy elements. Now I just discuss about fuzzy implications, which is very important to discuss about. And fuzzy implications means actually it is the manipulation of the different fuzzy proposition. As I said you, so first we have to know the fuzzy element, then fuzzy sets, then fuzzy rule, and finally the fuzzy implications. Now fuzzy implications and fuzzy inferences are the two very important things that is used to define your fuzzy system. So we should learn about the two things very precisely, then we shall be able to learn how we can build of our own fuzzy system. In our next session, I shall discuss about the application of fuzzy system, so for designing a controller, a logic controller that can be used to control your running of an washing machine, running of a washing machine, or running of a microphone, or running of an AC or air conditioner like this one. So these are the things that we can learn it. Now a fuzzy rule, we know about X is A. What is this? This is a fuzzy proposition, like Ram is honest, or apple is sweet, orange is yellow color. It is like that. And then so this can be defined by a fuzzy set. And what is a fuzzy set? A fuzzy set actually is a set of elements with their degree of membership value. Now next, this come to the rule. If X is A, then Y is B. This is actually coming often in the form of a relation matrix. So this is nothing but a relation matrix, right? Now here X is A, and for a rule there is a antecedent and consequent. So X is A called antecedent of the rule, and Y is B is called the consequence of the rule. So this actually can be expressed mathematically in the form of a rule matrix or relation matrix. Now here is a few examples. If pressure is high, then temperature is low. Whenever you want to develop an AC air conditioner, if the air pressure is high and temperature is low, so that can be obtained by a rule, a relation. Now if that actually the relation giving pressure and temperature actually, right? Or high pressure and low temperature actually. Now this relation therefore can be used to control the operation of your air conditioner. Now like another, so it is if mango is yellow, then mango is sweet, else mango is sour. If road is good, then driving is smooth, else traffic is high. So these kind of things actually we call in our fuzzy set, it is called the fuzzy implication. So this is one fuzzy implication, this is one fuzzy implication, this is one fuzzy implication. Now this kind of fuzzy implication is nothing but stored in the form of a relation, that is actually fuzzy relation. Now how this relation can be expressed? This relation can be expressed, it is called the AB. That means relation from A to B. Now the question is that how A did define B, how A defined B, actually it is actually the product. So there are different composition there to define how the relation matrix can be defined. We have already learned one simple mathematics for defining a relation matrix is called the max-min rule, but there is more than max-min. There are many other relations are known also in the field of fuzzy logic. Okay. Now this is an example. So it is, for example, this is a pressure, and the all possible pressure that is possible in the context of your application. So this is a universe of discourse of pressure. Similarly, this is the all possible temperature that is possible so far controlling an AC is concerned. So this is a universe of discourse of temperature. Now this is actually T high. You can understand that temperature is high. And this is another fuzzy set, it's called the P low, the pressure is low. Then relation matrix are T high, P low. If temperature is high, then pressure is low. It can be defined this way. Okay. Now, so this is all other fuzzy things. If it is not fuzzy, then if temperature is 40, then pressure is low. So it can be 40. But here temperature is 40, pressure is low. You can understand all these possible values are there, right? If temperature is 40, then pressure is low, 0.7. Pressure is low. The pressure when 1, it is also correct. Pressure is 2 and it is low, it is also correct. And pressure is 3 and its value is 0.7, it is also correct. All are correct. Now you can take some estimation from there. If temperature is low and what is the Cripps value of the pressure, you can take the mean value of all the values that is there in these rows. Maybe it is like this. So it can be given you 0.669 and these kind of things are there. So okay, pressure 0.299 can be there is the value that you can think about. So that temperature is 40 means pressure is like this one. So what I want to say is that this is actually a fuzzy implication. If temperature is high, pressure is low, that can be expressed in the form of a relation matrix. Actually, it is a implementation is there. Now, as I said, this implication, actually it is a rule, can be defined by a notation like this. A implies B, and there are many operations by which it can be defined. I just simply give you the many operations, those are known in the fuzzy literature. They are called minimum. That means this is the one rule that we can apply. And it is called the product is another rule. And this is called the bounded product. This is called the drastic product. So all these rules, if we apply, then what we can do is that we can get the entries of this element applying this result onto the elements on it, and then we can get it. So these are the different rules that we can apply so that a relation matrix implying a implication or fuzzy implication more precisely can be obtained. And this is called the A coupled with B. Similarly, there are many more operations, those are available, which is called the A. There are many more operations belong to the category. It is called the A coupled with another mean operator and algebraic product operator. This is very popularly called the Mamdani rule, and it is called the Larsen rule. So the rule which are here. Likewise, we have consider one more operation which is actually discussed while I was discussing about the relation calculation. It is called the max mean composition. That is actually a rule which come under the A entails B. So it is just using the simple Boolean operation that we can define A implies B using this one. Now here, as I said, the Boolean operation, those are applicable to truth value, two value logic, also can be applied to multi-value logic, and only the operation has their different bearings. So it is like this, these are the operation. And this is called the A entails B, by which the another relation or fuzzy implication can be defined. Now Jardé's arithmetic rule is the one very popular rule, which actually it is like this. So it is essentially what is called the very popular, and another it is called the Jardé's max mean rule, which is defined like this. It is essentially the max mean composition which we have learned about it. So it is actually a relation. Relation definitely from the two relations we can have another relation, and this actually gives you the fuzzy composition that you can think about it. There are few examples that you can have how the fuzzy implication can be obtained. It is all about the mathematical manipulation of matrix, and if we can apply this matrix, then we will be able to come to this one. So here, if X is A, then Y is B, else is C. So we can understand what is this mathematical formula. I mean, in terms of mathematics. So it is A cross B implies C. So it is actually, this is the Jardé's max mean rule that you can apply, and then we can have it. So this is actually the idea about that you can think. If X is A, then Y is B, else Y is C. You can note down, these are all fuzzy sets, right? So it is fuzzy sets. So A cross B gives a relation. That is a Cartesian product. A cross C, cross means is a complement, and C is another fuzzy set, and is a union operation. So this is a composition by which a rule like this can be derived, and this is a mathematically it is possible, and all these are only manipulation of matrices, because A B is a matrix, right? A cross C another matrix, union of the two matrix, we have already learned about it. So this is actually R. R is actually a fuzzy implication that we can obtain it. And mathematically, the whole things for any elements belong to A, B, and C, like we can derive this kind of form easily. So from A matrix, we can apply some operation. From two matrix, we can apply some operations, and we can have a resultant matrix that actually represents some other meaningful things, which is actually fuzzy implication that we can think. So this way we learn about the fuzzy implication. And here, if A, B, C are the three sets, for working example that I have given it, X is the universe of discourse, Y is another universe of discourse, A is fuzzy set, B is another fuzzy set, and C is the fuzzy sets. Then how this rule can be computed in the form of a matrix. You can understand, as I said, this is actually A cross B union A complement cross C. And this is according to the A entails B property of the fuzzy rule calculation. That is actually Jardé's rule actually. So Jardé's max mean rule we say. Now according to Jardé's max mean rule, so in order to obtain this, if X is A and Y is B, then Z is C, we will like this one, right? So this is the A cross B, the Cartesian product, and A complement C, Cartesian product, and then we will have the relation R. It is actually the Jardé's max mean rule following, right? And this is the relation that we can have. So given the A, B, C, the three fuzzy sets, and then this actually give you a fuzzy implication, right, in the form of a matrix. So it is all about the matrices. Now, I just want to start about the fuzzy inferences, which is the topic that I first stated, and then I'll come to the next session where I'll discuss defining of a fuzzy controller. Now here we know a little bit predicate logic. If we know, or Boolean logic, if we know, then it will, our understanding will be better to understand about the fuzzy inferences. So here you can understand, if C is a proposition, D is a proposition, then C or D is another proposition. So in case of Boolean algebra or in a predicate algebra, they are called proposition. And that is why sometimes they are called proposition calculus, or it is called the propositional logic, or simply predicate calculus or predicate logic. Now here what it does mean, if it is actually the complement sign. So H complement implies A union complement B. So all those things are actually, you know, A and B, if it is a proposition, H is another proposition. So we can obtain the another proposition which is in this form. So it is actually also called the formula. So C and D, if they are right formula, then C or D is another formula. They are also called some theorem. So hold the thing, if C is 2, D is 3, then C or D will give some value. And if it is true, then if it is true, then we can say that this is also true. So this is actually R cross A is another theorem which we can prove from the given proposition, or we can say given Wheel formula. So it is actually used in automatic reasoning or theorem proving, where the AI task is automatically there. You have to prove something, you have to either disprove something or reasoning something. If something happens, then it is like this one. So this is all about, is a matter of theorem proving. So here, for prove a theorem, these are the basic or the ground level is required. And using this ground level, we can prove whether it is true or false. If we come to this proposition as true, then we can prove the theorem. If it is false, then we can prove the theorem accordingly. So this way, the proposition logic is coming, and the proposition logic is the having very useful things in AI formalism, and it is also fuzzy logic using where the fuzzy AI can also be developed. Now, in case of fuzzy logic, the proposition and then the proposition that we can have it has two composition. One is called generalized modus ponens and generalized modus tollens. What it does mean? It says that if this rule is valid and this is also valid, then we can conclude this one. That means if it is known and if it is known, then we can prove that this is also known. So this is called GMP or generalized modus ponens. So it is actually a simple modus ponens. Modus ponens say that if P is true, then Q is true. So it is actually same as P implies Q. Right? So if P implies Q, and possibly you have learned, you can recall, P implies Q means not P or Q. So it is like this. So if X is A, then Y is B, and given that X is A complement, then we can prove that Y is B complement. So this is a rule, right? And this is the rule is used so far the fuzzy implication and then inferences is concerned. So here actually we are inferring a proposition from that two proposition. Similarly, there is another inference also possible. It is called the generalized modus tollens. If X is A, then Y is B and Y is B dash. Then we can prove it X is A dash. Now you can find the difference between GMP and GMT. So GMP, the first proposition same, but the second proposition, as you note down, X is A complement, then Y is B complement. Here Y is B complement, then X is A complement. So these are two things. What is the meaning of this? If it is given, then if this rule is given, and if it is given, then we can tell something about this another proposition that can be relating to Y is to some other fuzzy set. Similarly, if this rule is given, and if it is given, then we can relate some rule so that X is related to another fuzzy set. So here Y is related to another fuzzy set if this rule and this proposition is given. On the other hand, according to GMT, if this rule and this proposition is given, then how X is related to some other fuzzy set can be obtained. So whether Y can be related to other fuzzy set or X can be related to other fuzzy set, given these are the proposition, we will be able to derive it. And this is the matter of fuzzy inferences. So fuzzy inferences, if you take, it is actually more mathematically or formally we can express in this form. What is the idea? Rxy, it is actually if x is A and y is B rule, right? So it is a relation. A complement, if it is given A dash, here for example, if x is A, then y is B, so you can say it is R A cross B. Then x is A complement is given. Then what we can do, B complement can be derived. So this actually, you see the composition of A complement and this relation, actually the B complement can be obtained. And then, so mathematically more, right, precisely, we can have this one thing. So GMP it is like, similarly GMT it is like, okay. So given the relation and B complement another set, we can derive another fuzzy set, it is like this one. Now let us have an example so that you can understand the things better. I can discuss about the GMP first. So GMP is if x is A, then y is B, and x is A dash. Then we will be able to derive another fuzzy inference, y is B dash. So here, say suppose it is the set and x is A dash, it is like this, y is B dash, it is like this. Now here we want to derive GMP, that means y is B dash from the given x is A dash, and then relation A, B is given to you. Okay, so here this is the idea. As I said, it is a B dash means A dash composition RXI. RXI actually it is the, that is Max-Min rule we can apply to the two sets A and B, we can give it. So suppose this is the relation R, which can be obtained taking the union of the two sets. Okay, so these are the RXY like. Okay, now here this is RXY. Now A dash is given there. Now we can take the composition of A dash and RXY. So it is A dash and RXY. And here we can take the max-min again rule. So it is like this. So this value will be given, taking the max of all and then finally min. Then this one and then this, we can get it. So what we can see, this is the B dash, a proposition, which is nothing but a fuzzy set. This is the first element is implied and the second element is implied. They are denote the membership values of the first element, membership values of the second element. So more real life application that, okay, and then another is, so GMT is like this, right? And this is the GMT it is. GMT, as you know, it is actually if it is X and Y and A is this, B dash is this. So A dash can be obtained in the form of this form, right? So find the relation and then apply the max-min composition into it, and here you can get it, right? So this way we can find it another proposition. So here is an example so that you can follow these inferences more precisely with an example. So if temperature is high, then rotation is slow. This is in the context of controlling an AC, suppose, and temperature is very high. Then we have to see that what should be the rotation. So if we want to do this, then we can go for GMP rule. So X is the temperature, universe of discourse of temperature. Rotation is the universe of discourse. What are the different rotation per second like this one? So these are the two things that is given to you. And now you will be able to have the inferences that if temperature is high, then rotation is slow. Temperature is very high, then what is the rotation? With the rotation, composition temperature is very high and the relation between the two. So given this and the membership function, we will be able to find the relation, and then this is the set. If it is given to you, you will be able to find what should be the rotation. Now note that this rotation actually in terms of fuzzy value that you can think about it. Now here I just say high, very high, slow, and quite slow. These are the different fuzzy sets. So far the rotation is concerned given. If temperature is high, then rotation is slow. We can define it in terms of this relation, which we can obtain readily using our previous learning. Temperature is very high, also it is given to you because this is the temperature is very high, right? Then we will be able to deduce these are rotation. What is the rotation, quite slow or slow, these kind of things. So it is the rotation actually. You can say this is the rotation of T, and we can obtain from this one. So this way we will be able to define it. Now I think this is, I should stop it here. Okay, before going to design a fuzzy controller. But anyway, so if you have any question, then I can take few questions from your side. Otherwise, okay, let us complete my session, and then, I mean, including the second session. so that we can get more time at the end of our second session, then we can take more questions. So our next part is actually, we shall discuss about the fuzzy concept, but there is also another concept which is very much important. It is called the defuzzification. Now, defuzzification, because we, the real life people, always live with the crisp value. We are not so much comfortable with the fuzzy value actually, because if some answer is given to you in a fuzzily, then you will not be able to conclude precisely. So for the precise conclusion, you need a defuzzified value. So in our next session, we'll start with the discussion of defuzzification, followed by an application of hold the fuzzy things to develop a fuzzy system, which is called the motion of a robot as a fuzzy logic controller. Okay, fine?
Yes, sir. We will take the questions after second session of sir.
Yes, I think it is fine. But if some questions are there, definitely I can go for those questions, right?
Right.
So they can type their question on the chat box, so that we can. Okay, I see some questions are coming. So okay, fine, right. No, it is not related to my question. Okay, my topic. Anyway, so if you have any question, right, you can type on the chat so that I can see it and then I can reply to that question. So this way I think is better. Otherwise, I will not be able to. Okay, take the voice as a query. That's fine. Okay.
Dear participant, if you have any query or questions to sir, you can type here itself, or we will get back to at 11:30.
Yes, I think that will be better. Okay.
Yes, sir. We will, sir. We will take questions after second session.
Sure, sure.
Thank you, sir. We will meet again at 11:30.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you.